It got that bad, and that's why I'm trying to bless somebody with this now. If I known the things that I went through the last 4 years, I feel like I went through financial college the last 4 years of my life. It was so much I had to learn how to do on my own and stuff, so I come back to help somebody else. I had to learn how to do this stuff on my own because I couldn't afford the lawyers. I couldn't afford the debt collectors. Afford to talk to them the way I wanted to, and without having the knowledge. So I had to study this stuff on my own and then talk to them. And I also reached out to those resources. You remember the resources I talked about when it came down to your SWOT analysis, the opportunities? If you got friends out there that work in these type of situations, ask them. I went and asked my friend. She's a financial consultant. I said, look, they didn't give me more interest. My interest is higher than my car payment. And she said, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep the car? I said, I only owe $1,400 on the car. That's all I owe, but they keep going up. It keeps going up. You know, the balance kept going up because all of the interest fees hadn't been paid. And what I was paying was actually interest. The car was paid for, but the interest from late payments and stuff, that interest wasn't paid. And every month that interest was causing another payment to come on. It was like 2 payments coming out at one time. So when she told me what I had to do, she said the best thing you can do is go ahead and get it paid off as soon as possible. Every chance you get, send in extra payment. And it's going to knock that interest down. Guess what? I did. I sent in extra payments. Like I said, I was sending in $450, $500, whatever I could get, I was sending it in. And when I got down to the last $400, I prayed to God. I said, Lord, this is getting hard. I'm starting to see my skin sag. And, I just been shriveled up so bad from lack of eating and stuff. And I said, Lord, this is getting hard on me. I need you to provide for me like never before. I said, I can't take it anymore. I said, my stomach split open because I was malnourished and stuff. And so what ended up happening in my dream, I had a dream. It said, go to them. Go to them and ask them, if you get $300, can you get out of your contract? And guess what? I went down there. I owed around $700, $800 and some dollars was left what I owed. I said, look, y'all, my body's tired. I'm tired. My body's tired. I said I didn't went to sleep most nights, not even knowing if I was going to wake up, but I was trusting in the Lord for all my needs. I went to bed most nights, not even eating, just trying to pay this debt off because I wanted to do the right thing. You know what that man said? He said, give me $300. Give me the $300 you got, and we're going to wipe it off. And what makes so bad, I think I had actually told him I got $350, and he said, just give me $300. And they wiped the whole debt out. The rest that was wiped out, I got my title the same day, and that was it. So that's why I'm telling you, whenever you start stressing over money, you got to know that God is on your side. You got to know that no matter whatever situation that you're in, that God can take that situation and work it for your good. Now, keep in mind, I believe all of us sought New Year's resolutions last year about we wanted to lose weight.
Yeah.
We didn't ask God for how it was going to get done. we didn't ask him that part, but so that, you know, whenever you put stuff out there, you got to be specific about it. So I was specific about what I wanted to do when it came down to my debt. I wrote it down after I had the dream that next morning, and it was 2 days later. I said, I got this money. I got to go and at least try to get rid of this debt right here. And it happened. It happened. The man said, you ain't even got to tell us no more. He said, we know you've been struggling. You know, here it is. And that was the end of that. That's how God works. That's how God's favor is. Whenever he sends you on an assignment, and like I said, I kept telling God, I kept saying to God, I said, Lord, I know you ain't got me in this for myself. And it wasn't for myself. It's for the women who didn't know better either. It's so those women do not have to go through the situations that I went through, so that they do not have to stress over trying to have a good life and to get things done without, going broke. One of the things that I realized is that over the last 4 years that the Lord taught me was that every time I looked at money and I complained about money, the more was taken from me. But every time I came back and I looked and I saw the spiritual side of things, abundance was given to me. There was times when no money was even changed hands and bills were wiped off. So that's why we got to pay attention to what we are doing, because we don't want to get into situations that cause us to put our security up, to put our health up on the line. My health was on the line, and I'm still recovering, but glory to God, He has made recovery possible.
Amen.
And I didn't have a dime. I didn't have a dime to buy gauze and stuff. My stomach split open from being malnutrition. My hair fell out till I was almost like string. It was strings of hair on my head from vitamin D deficiency. Just strings. I ended up having to cut the rest of the strings off. I wear wigs anyway, so it didn't bother me. I said, Lord, okay, I got some new growth in there anyway. I saw how pretty my daughter hair grew back when she cut hers short. I said, well, mine going to grow back pretty too. But I didn't let it get to me anymore. I learned that I couldn't stress over things that I didn't have control over. And when we get to that place where we're stressing that hard, that it causes us to go out and drink a lot of alcohol and think that's going to solve some problems. It causes us to go out and do drugs and stuff thinking that's going to solve the problem. It don't solve the problem. It causes some of us to stay in relationships that God has not even ordained for us because we think with money instead of spiritual riches. We got to put our eyesight back on God instead of trying to put it on the dollar every time we turn around. It was several months, not just 1 month, that I went and I didn't even have a dime to buy groceries. I did not have a dime to buy groceries, but it was always somebody that was passing through and would say, Jimmy, you want a breakfast plate? Oh, yeah, sure. It was always, God was always sending the support from somewhere. He always had the resources somewhere. And one of the things I realized as well was that I was stressing in some things where I had wasted money on. God put it around and worked it for my good because I was always bad about spending money on body washes, deodorants and stuff, and wouldn't even use them. Lord knows my room was stacked with them. So when I had lost all my stuff, guess what? When I had to throw away all my furniture and stuff back in 2016, guess what? There was almost a year's supply of body washes and deodorants and stuff that came in handy for this season. You hear me? Mm-hmm. That's how He will work stuff. Whenever you trust God, that's how He will work stuff. He will take your mistakes and turn it into abundance. Instead of us looking for a cash flow all the time, we got to really look to God and trust Him on the things that we want and the things that we need. I know there are some women now seeking things that are wants, some things that you have been desiring in your heart for a long time. But if you continue to wait on God, wait on the Lord, don't jump prematurely and you won't lose your security. Don't jump prematurely because every attachment is not a good attachment when it comes down to our financial health and also our health as well. Okay, so we have to really get into trusting God when it comes down to that. And I want to tell you something else, too. A lot of women have financial fear. A lot of women go through financial fear. If I don't keep up with what everybody else is doing, I'm not going to be accepted. If I don't have the latest outfit or hairdo or something, I'm not going to be accepted. Well, I'm going to tell you something. You keep putting your eyesight on these material things, and God will find a way to humble you down. I I had over 100 wigs back there. I think we counted 150. I think that's what we counted was 150 wigs. And guess what? The whole time, those wigs were about new. I never worn those wigs like that. God showed me where I had wasted my money. And he showed me how if it get taken from you and you don't have people in your corner, you better learn how to have your faith fully in God. Mm-hmm. So we have to stop fearing of going broke. Because truly, when you look at it, we ain't broke. We are not broke. There are tons of resources that are sitting right here in our houses that we have not used, that we can get rid of to help pay down debt. Yep. There are tons of stuff. Women, you know, like Amanda, like you said, you had all the extra pocketbooks that time and stuff. Yep. There was people you could sell them to, even if you didn't give a $2 or $3 to help pay down debt. And I tell you something that's even greater than that. And people going to think I'm crazy when I say this. But when you give to someone freely, guess what? It will be given back to you freely. Yep. Even though I was down in my worst financial situation ever, anything that I still had, I still got out there and worked as if I had just as much as anybody else because I did. I had God. I still got out there, and I did my charity work and filled boxes to give women and stuff and people who were sick, even when I didn't have myself. And guess what? Those seeds alone that you plant, they will come back to you. I had no idea that the seeds were going to have to come back to me and that people were going to end up having to give me galls and stuff. I had no idea that. Mm-hmm. But I said, Lord, you are real. I said, you are real. You have supplied my every need. You have not let me fail not one time. I got down and I felt bad at times. But every time I would put my sight back on God, I was like, this victory right here, I need to get rid of some of this stuff anyway. So you have to get that mindset that you're going to put your mind more on the spiritual things of God than just thinking about money, money, money. Look at all this income tax money came out this season and last season. Those people don't got their money now. It's a lot of people who don't got their tax money now.
Yeah, and they kill me income tax rich, and then when it's gone, they be coming on with the sad face.
When it's gone, they become depressed and stressed.
Yep.
Depressed and stressed. That's what happens when it's gone. And the worst part of it is when you know it's leaving you. When you're down to your last 300 and you try to exchange it for 20s to make it look more than what it is. That's the worst part. That's when the heart really goes to thumping then because you know that's it. And you get to thinking on your mind, dang, I didn't pay off that bill. I was supposed to got a car, and I didn't even get the car. I'm going to wait the next year and get it. See, we can't have a mindset like that. We can't have a scarcity mindset that puts us in the fear of we ain't going to have this and we ain't going to have that just because we don't have the cash in hand. Listen, I didn't have the cash in hand, but God had people. God had people. You got to think with the mindset of the Spirit of the living God, which is abundance. Jesus said, I come that you may have life and life more abundantly. So it goes back to that thing, you know, when we was talking a couple months ago about the power of influence. That's what it goes back to, that influence. What do you believe? Do you believe the report of the Lord, or do you believe what your eyes is seeing? Because if your eyes can see it, that probably ain't what God wants you to focus on.
Yep.
Okay, so whenever you get to the point where you are focusing on more the negative things of what you don't have, the best way to cure that is to look around your home and be thankful and grateful for the things that you do have. Be thankful that you woke up and you had eyes to see with. Be thankful that you have a nose to breathe with. Be thankful that you have a lip to talk with. You might not even have all your teeth. I ain't got all my teeth, and I sure ain't worried about it. But, you know, you may not have all those things that you want to really have, but you have something. God has given you something to work with. In every home, there is a resource for you to work with, even if it ain't nothing but your internet. There are people making money on the internet. So it's no excuse, that we have to sit around and complain or be fearful of income when God is saying, I'm laying it out here for you. You just got to come out of that mindset, that scarcity mindset.